guys? Scott Stern Firearms.
Ryan with Shooter Media Outlet.
And I'm funny.
So we've seen what, a million videos of the Glock Gen 5s.
Yeah.
And we just wanted to put our 2 cents in. Being in the firearms store, there's a lot of people still asking really what the differences are. So we figured we'd make a really quick video, get some trigger time behind it. Because unfortunately, when these first came out, I couldn't even get a hold of one really because they kept selling out of my store. So we finally have ourselves one.
Bad thing.
I was saying, yeah, nothing wrong
It's
with
not
that.
a bad thing.
Yeah, so I mean, it obviously speaks that they are selling, but our customer and friend Chris gave his Glock 19 up here for us to get some more trigger time behind, so thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
But, I mean, what are we really looking at for the differences? I mean, there's not a whole lot of differences compared to what the 3s and 4s were.
No. I mean, and I don't beat them up because it's a Glock. I mean,
Yeah.
that's it. You expect it to be a Glock. It's a Glock.
I mean, no, go ahead.
No, that's
Yeah, so I mean,
Nothing.
what we're looking at.
Aesthetics. I mean, I guess that would be the first place to even start. Would be aesthetically. Would be the flared magwell.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things, having the flared magwell. I mean, I think the magazines come out a lot easier now on release. It's not really that big of a game changer, I think.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I have a Gen 3 Glock, and I mean, once you use it enough, the mags
Right.
just fall right out. It's not really that big of a deal. I mean, I know people have that stigma towards the polymer mags versus the steel mags that drop with a little bit more, they're heavier. So.
Right.
But the one thing that Floody actually pointed out was when they made this change with the flared magwell, they actually made this little channel inlet, so it's easier to remove, like with one hand. If your mag gets stuck, you can just kind of like rack it on the side of your holster or your belt.
yeah. The mags have a little bit of a lip on them, which is
Yep.
great. If you're defensively minded, the only issue though is that the flare in the magwell, coupled with the notch, can make inserting the mag a little more tricky. You
A little
can
bit
get
trickier.
caught under pressure in time, but that's a practice issue ultimately.
Yeah, I mean, it's not something we really haven't run any like duress situations or high stress
Yeah.
situations. So, I mean, it's definitely going to be a learned practice. I mean, obviously these guys still do come with the 4 attachments or the back straps, if you will. So if you like to ride up high when you're drawing from concealment or from your holster, you still have the beaver tails to protect you from the slide bites and all that fun stuff. But the next big thing then is going to be the ambi. So you're running with the ambi slide locks here on both sides, which is really nice.
I've just learned to work around it. Like
Yeah.
I train left and right,
Yeah.
and it's not really a big deal to me.
Yeah, I mean, it is nice, though, I mean, especially if you're a new shooter
Yeah.
and you're left-handed. I mean, it's always kind of like, how do you get the
I know
the
yeah,
workaround?
that's a really good point too.
Because I had one guy that came to the store that's, left-handed, and he's like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Right.
It's like, no, if you practice well enough.
It is, if you're a lefty, it is definitely a nod to the lefties out there.
Yeah.
Oh, fact.
Absolutely, and, the next big thing is that they got rid of the finger grooves.
Right.
I mean, how do you guys feel about that? I mean, this is simulating the M pistol for the FBI.
Yeah. I kind of like it. I know that the finger grooves don't bother me terribly, but I know they do bother some people.
And I see a lot of people that come into the shop and they want to have, Dremel it out and do the stippling jobs and just basically shave this away. So I'd say it's a 50-50 split. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm going to get more trigger time here, obviously, to see how it really feels. But,
Right.
I mean, I think it is what it is. I mean, it's nothing groundbreaking with it. They
Right.
tried changing up the style
It's
just a little
nothing.
bit.
They've done it before. It's
Yeah.
not new.
Absolutely. Next thing then you have is going to be the extended mag release. So it's a lot bigger than the little notches that we had prior. So that's nicer to have, and then this can actually be reversible, so you can do it left-hand applicable as well.
Nice.
So I like that. The last 2 features they really changed out here was the NDLC finish.
Okay.
So it's going to be a little bit blacker than what the other slides are for like your 2s, 3s, and 4s, and it's supposed to be a lot stronger. Now, I mean, we went through the Glock Armorers course, and they said the original finish, I mean, it takes a diamond to try and cut through it, so I don't know how much more they can really reinforce
Improve on that. Yeah.
And-
Well, time will tell.
Yeah.
Right.
We'll see how a holster beats it up. That's,
Exactly.
That's what's going to happen to it.
Yeah, and then the last thing is going to be the barrel. So they put in their marksman barrel. Still the same hexagonal barrel.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of, my feeling is there are few people who can shoot to the precision of that barrel to begin with. So for most people, you're not really going to notice a difference, I think, in the barrel. It's a nice touch, but most people won't notice it.
Yeah, I mean, basically you're looking at 569 to purchase one of these guys. So with, you know, this generation coming out and the 4s and 3s starting to fall on the wayside, it's still competitive. I mean, you're still looking anywhere from, you know, $499 for your Gen 3s to $525 for your Gen 4s. So if the fingers really aren't that big of a game changer for you, spring for it. I mean, 20 extra bucks and you have yourself the new gen.
Yeah, you know, the only other thing I want to point out is I do like that they beveled the slide
Yes.
on the front, which is really nice because that makes inserting it into a holster a little bit easier. I wish they would have done a little bit better of a job tapering it into the lower.
Yeah, it's a little bit
Looks a little sloppy.
little clunky there.
It looks like there was like a missed opportunity there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I agree with that. You're right on that. I mean, that could have been a lot
that's
nicer.
something. But I mean, that's a common mod. I mean, most of the things that we've talked about are common
Right.
things that people are doing to their gun. They're putting an extended mag release.
Yep.
They're putting the flared mag well base on there. So most of the stuff, I mean, I think I'm taking a shot in the dark, but I suspect Glock is paying attention to what some people are kind of doing.
On social media for sure.
Yeah.
I think they definitely listen to the consumers on this one.
Yeah, and the other thing, which
You're getting attacked.
we're being assaulted over here by bugs, is the orange magwell follower, which isn't really revolutionary because a lot of companies do that. But
It used
is
to only be
nice.
for the training pistols.
Well, a lot of companies, I mean,
Well, training for the Glock
yeah.
pistols.
yeah, it's nice so that it's an easier anything that's going to help you identify that your weapon is clear. I'm gonna like as an instructor.
Right.
I'm definitely gonna like that.
Yeah, because all the black mags, I mean, you don't know if there's a malfunction or if it's jammed or whatever it is, but as soon as this pops open, you can primarily see that
Yeah.
there's the orange follower and you're good to go.
The only thing and I hope that people don't rely on it too much, and they do actually do their physical check.
Yes, the physical
in addition.
checks, your gravity
Yeah,
checks,
'cause
and all
it's
that other
easy
fun
to
stuff.
it's easy to get into a rut and
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, and that kind of stuff.
And one other thing too, this is actually kitted out with some nicer sights.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about
Yeah,
the
upgraded
sights.
sights.
Yeah, so as much of a Glock fan as I am, I absolutely hate their sights. So
Yeah,
that's
I think
typically
we
the
all
first
agree
thing
on
that all
that,
goes
yeah.
out is swapping the sights out. The one thing that seemed a little odd to me though is with the Gen 5s coming in, I think like 4 out of the 9 that were in the store right out the gate, the back sight was actually slid off, like it wasn't centered.
Yeah. Well, when I bought my the 43,
Yeah.
the sights were jacked up.
So that's been
and-
seeming to happen a lot more often, and we purchased from 4 different distributors, and we're with the Glock stocking program. But I don't understand why some of these sites have been drifting. So
I think it's honestly because they're just trying to punch them out,
yeah,
and somebody's not really.
yeah, quality control. But I mean, I'm pretty vigilant on that. So when they come in, we check them and make sure that they're
Yeah, you don't let them go out the door like that.
No. So I mean, we're really cautious with that. But I mean, that's just I don't know. The polymer sights, I mean, they dent up easy, and if you're trying to do
Yeah.
the one-hand rack and you have it off the side of the sight, I mean, it's going to chip. Like it's just.
The thing about the stock sights that come with them is they're not super horrible. I mean, you can shoot with them.
Oh yeah, you can still shoot with them. It took
They're
me
just
2
not-
years before I really
right.
put on the other for my 19.
They're just not durable.
No.
I mean, and that's the issue. I mean, in Glock's market is like defensive, so it kind of, that's, maybe they'll watch this video, go maybe next gen, but they got to do something with those sights. They
Now
gotta
some of their
top them
sights,
off,
I mean,
man.
their night sights for the 19s and the 17s, you're looking at the true lows. So they're the the more metallized ones, if you will.
And their raised suppressor sights that they ran on what was that, the Gen 3?
Yeah.
Suppressor ready model.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I love about Glocks is the third-party market is just massive.
Oh, it's
Oh, yeah.
great.
So you're already adapting and coming out with new things. And
Yeah.
last thing to note for this is these the Gen 5s only come in 2 models right now. You're looking at the 19 and the 17. So I foresee that they're going to probably punch them out for like probably the 22, 23, and some of the other more popular models. But it took some time for the Gen 4s to really come around with the MOSs. I mean, we're
Yeah.
now out of the Gen 4s, and the MOS is really only for the 19, 17, and the 34.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess it really depends on how the market reacts. I didn't really have anybody come in the store and complain like, oh, I don't have a 40. It's people flock to the 9 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a problem. at
Nine's
all.
pretty much standard, especially now that the FBI came out with their massive
Statistics,
study
yeah.
and
Yep.
everything, and I
Absolutely.
think it's something that the defensive shooting world's been saying for quite a while anyway. So
Agreed.
it's nothing new.
Yep. So I mean, that's all we really have. And one thing I'm really kind of bummed about is they came out of the out for summertime with the front serration.
That was it.
What happened?
Right?
What happened, guys? That's kind of a bummer. I mean, and I'll be honest, the front serration kind of looked a little assy. I don't know. I thought that was just they really didn't care.
Right?
But I mean, we didn't even really sell any of the models in the store for their front serration. But if you're kind of moving, into the next gen and onward and upward, why not include it? Every gun has the front serration at this point. Why is Glock backpedaling again?
Even if it's just for the aesthetics of it.
Yeah, I mean, I still would
I
like to see
don't
that.
use front serrations. It's not something I commonly use.
Yeah,
And my hand strength isn't an issue. I don't out of my hand. If I for whatever reason grab the front of the slide, I don't have an issue gripping it.
Yeah, I'm not going to be press checking either, especially
Yeah,
a Glock.
no.
You know what I mean? So realistically, yeah, I agree.
but I definitely see. I mean, a lot of new shooters come in and their hand strength's not where it needs to be because it's not something they're used to doing.
Yeah,
So it would have been a nice feature to add on there
gotcha.
for some of the newer shooters. But
Practice. That's what I would
practice.
say.
Yeah, practice.
yeah.
But I mean, we've been
Try
rocking
hard.
Glocks forever, so it's like we found every way around any little nuance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's for the price point, I think if you're looking to do the upgrade, $20 more if you're in the market for a new Glock is really
Yeah.
not going to break the bank for you.
I personally wouldn't trade in my old Glock for the new one.
No, I wouldn't either, but I still think it's a nice pistol.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you're in the market for a new Glock,
Oh,
you
yeah.
want a 19 or 17, you might as well
Just upgrade.
just buy it.
So we're going to get some trigger time in here,
Let's do it.
so
Sounds good.
we'll see you on the range. You don't have to break your grip as much to release it.
No, not at all.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Put the back strap on though, and you might.
That's true.
And that is a lot nicer. It's like it'll take a little getting used to because I'm used to having to break it a little bit more, but it is nice. All right. That lock back, hold on yours. Yeah, see what I'm talking about?
Oh.
See, like.
I really do like those sights, though. I mean,
They
personally,
stand out.
Yeah, they stand
Yeah,
out compared
for
to.
a guy with bad eyes, man. Like, I really appreciate that.
Not bad.
All right, guys. So we're back from the range, just going over our final thoughts on the Gen 5.
It's good enough.
It's good enough.
I'm sure he gets a kick out of that because he's always been the CZ fan, and I mean, it's not a bad pistol.
No, it's not. I had fun.
Yeah, and
I really did.
And the interesting thing is, there's a lot more people coming to the store now for the Gen 3s and 4s because I know the price is starting to drop.
I knew that was coming.
And a lot of people have really compared like the Gen 3 trigger to the Gen 5, and it's they've obviously gotten some trigger time with it, and they're super excited about being able to snag one or the other. And it's been honestly a split 50-50 whether people go for the earlier gen or they go for the 5.
Yeah.
For basically $20 more. It's like, do you want one without the finger grooves? Do you want one with this? And I mean, what do you think about the marksman barrel? Is that like the placebo effect out there? Or?
I think it is. I
Okay.
really do.
So, I mean, I'm not 100% sold on the marksman barrel. I mean, I shoot Glocks all the time, and I
Yeah.
just felt like I wasn't performing better. than usual. And I don't know if maybe that was like the placebo effect or my
Yeah.
mind. So I was like, I'm gonna do better, and then just be like disappointed when I didn't do better.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really notice any difference. It would take running, I don't know, a Gen 4 and a Gen 5 back to back for a couple weekends
Mhm.
to even notice any type of difference.
Yeah.
Or maybe if we ran it in like a bench rest and locked it down and actually saw the accuracy difference, that would have been interesting.
Or the bat shield, we can do the
Could.
Baker bat shield.
There we go.
The one thing that Floody had really brought up too was, you know, with the magwell and everything.
Catching.
I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously with the flared magwell, I mean, it does drop a little bit smoother.
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
say. But when you're looking at like doing like, you know, fast reloads or tactical reloads or just
Yeah.
trying to get in there, I sat here and did that in front of the dry fire
Yeah.
training system, and it did snag quite a bit. But after maybe like, I'd say 10 minutes or so, I think we were okay. You know, I got used to it and like where to insert the magazine properly without it snagging on the lip.
Right.
But that's a very valid point. I mean, if you know, I like to tell people if this is what you're going to war with or you're carrying for your, you know, every day, train with it. If you're not going to train with it, you're not going to be proficient.
And that
little
can be
hang-ups
applied
like
to everything.
Exactly. So little hang-ups like that, you know, can be kind of detrimental.
That was us nitpicking though too.
Yeah,
I mean, we were really nitpicking.
yeah, we definitely scrutinized the crap out of this gun, but I like it. I mean,
It deserved that though. It really did. Us scrutinizing.
yeah, and it's, I mean, and like I said, you know, we have people that come in here all the time, and they're like, okay, well, they just look at it like apples to apples, and like, this is all Glock did, and it's kind of like, well, yeah, well, you also have an iPhone, so
Right.
what all has iPhone done in the past like 12 models that have come out? But it's, you know, there's a reason why it works and does what it needs to do.
If you were to buy a Glock, say you never owned one, what would you buy? Like, personally for me, I think I would.
See, it's kind of hard to put myself in that position, but I honestly think I would go with the new gen because
That's what I'm thinking.
when you only look at like that small price difference. I mean, if this was like, you know, $800 versus a, you know, $499 pistol,
Forget about
I
it.
might just be like, okay, well, I'm going to suck it up, use the finger grooves, and only have 2 magazines and no backstrap.
Right.
And then just add stuff as I go.
Yep.
But since the price difference is so close with that and the Gen 4 right now, I mean, it's almost a no-brainer.
Right.
Now, like I said, the prices are starting to, you know, drop down.
Yeah.
Where it's, you know, they're setting themselves a little bit further apart from the rest of the pack. But, you know, if I'm a new shooter and I want to be proficient, I mean, I don't know the difference with the fingers. I don't know the difference with the flared magwell.
That's what I'm
so,
saying. Yeah.
You know, does it really benefit? I mean, they might just say like, okay, well, these are improvements. This is what I'm going to do. I mean, it's kind of what people have done with, like, I'll refer back to Apple and the iPhones. If you're brand new coming from the Android market,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, well, everyone says go get an iPhone, are you going to retroactively go back to like the 3G?
Exactly.
Or are you just going to rock out right away with the 7 or the 8 or the X?
Yep. Newest phone, newest pistol. I mean, yeah.
And I mean, I've perused a lot of reviews on the Glocks on YouTube, and there really hasn't been like, this is the end all be all or this is absolute crap. It's just been like, it's good enough.
Yeah.
And that's not a bad thing for a pistol to come out and just like not really have a yay or nay to it.
Yeah.
But it's been a positive reception, I think, through, you know,
The entire community, indeed. Yeah.
So, you know, overall, I mean, I recommend, you know, we always have 3 different generation Glocks in the store.
Yeah.
So I tell people, like, here's your differences.
Yep.
And most people just look at me like I've grown, like, you know, a second head or something when it comes to the Gen 5 Glock. And they're like, I don't know if it's really different. Then they hold it and like, okay.
Yeah.
It's either you like the finger grooves or you don't. I mean, that's really what it boils down to between the Gen 4 and 5.
Right. Personal preference. It really does come down to that. But I do like the extra bells and whistles that they added on to it. You know, the ambidextrous safety is nice and the oversized.
And that was a really good sell. I mean, I had 2 customers that one was a 17, one was a 19, and they're like, I'm a left-handed shooter. This is awesome. This is awesome. It's like,
Yep.
cool. It's, you know, I take that stuff for granted because every gun's made for right-handed.
Right.
The only thing, like, Glock, if you ever hear this or ever see this, please change the sights.
Yeah, I am kind of tired of that.
Not a fan of that. I mean, I get it. You did away with the front serration, but, you know, start upgrading the sights. I mean, obviously you can go with the night sights through the True Glows, which are already, you know, pre-manufactured on there. But
Which
then
they're
again,
awesome, yeah.
so do the Asian Ks, so do some of the Smith & Wesson, you know, tactical editions
Yep.
of the shields. You're going to get the, you know, the actual metal sights.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anyone's ever installed these sights before or, you know, went to swap them out. It is so hard, and you have to be so meticulous not to mar up these factory sights. And I cringe every time a customer goes, "I want them back," because I'd rather just slam them into the vise and just yank them out and be like, "Yep, throwing them in the trash," because they instantly just dent. So we have to be super careful with that. I stack all this cardboard, all this random stuff, and I mean the other sites. I mean they go on like they slide on like butter, but for God's sakes, just change out the sights. Your Glock. Be perfect.
Gen 6, yeah, perfection.
Gen 6, revert back to your Gen 3 model and put on iron sights.
Problem solved, we got it.
Yeah, so marketing team, we'll take a 10% for all the thank yous you're going to get from the Glock community.
There you go. Yeah, that's about all I have on my talking points realistically.
That's all I got too. I mean, it was a fun range day. I was glad we got Floody out there. He's an NRA instructor and police instructor, and
I like his input. I really like hearing his side. He looks at stuff that the normal gun owner is not going to look at. I really like that.
I mean, he's out there protecting and serving and teaching officers to do the same.
That too, yeah.
You look for little different tactical advantages, and that's where the civilian side, it's like, hey, it's a gun. It's like, no, this is like what you really need to be doing with it. So. Yeah, we really appreciate him coming out for that, and it was, like I said, a great day in the range. So,
yeah,
we'll catch you next time the Gen 6 comes out.
You got it. Thanks for watching, guys.
See ya.